Hi there makers, it is Jo here, and today I've got a tool video for you. So I've been searching the website for some top tools and I'm just going to show you how to use them and when to use them. Might even have a few alternative uses, but today we're going to take a look at hemming rulers, or ones that you can press under the iron. They're really great for hemming, but you might find some other uses for them too. I'm hemming my Maison Fauve skirt and it's in a stretch cotton sateen. This colourway is called Glorious Garnish, and I'm at the last bit of my project now, so I want to make sure that I get a really good hem on the bottom. These hot hemmers are absolutely fabulous. They're from Clover. They're made of a felty fabric. They're really strong. You can see that one's been used a little bit more than that one because I didn't know I wanted one of these until I got one, and then I just used it all of the time. So it's metric. And I'm going to turn up a 2.5 centimetre hem. So you put the hemmer underneath the fabric. You could measure 2.5 if you wanted to, 1, 2.5. I tend to just wiggle the fabric until I get the raw edge to meet up with the line that I want. And then you can put heat through the fabric and it won't damage the hot hemmer. You keep moving along. And you will get an evenly pressed hem. You could use it again then if you wanted to press again. You could press up your hem allowance first and then press up your hem. It's up to you how you use it. This one has a curved edge and I'll show you how to use that in the next part of the video, and a little bit here. So that one's slightly more adaptable. This one is a little longer, so it depends what you think you're going to be using your hot hemmer for. This one I would say is purely for hems really. It's particularly good for curtain making because you've got a nice long length to keep moving along. You don't have to move it quite as many times as this one. So these are the Clover hot hemmers. They're really light. They're so easy to chuck in a bag to take to a social or a retreat. And it's much better than using a loose tape measure on your ironing board. These ones are sold separately, so you'll decide which one you'd like to choose depending on which feature you would like. Same product, different brand. This is the Prim ironing rulers. These ones are much finer, so you don't get so much turn of cloth loss when you pull up this one, and it's got a few more different features. So you can, if you want to, measure on the top. Or you can use it the same as the hot hemmer and press through, but you're only going to be doing really small parts at a time. Depends how you like to hem, depends how movable your fabric is. If you've got something like a challis, you might find that's a little bit more movable. This one has a different feature to the Clover one in that you just pop out all the little loose bits of plastic. They just are little cutouts. And this has holes in, so if you want to add a particular seam allowance, you can put a chalk line through these holes and create a line, not just for hemming, but for sewing a seam allowance as well. In this one, you get the two different sizes in one pack, so you might decide that you'd like both of these and you want the really long one. So this one is longer than the longest Clover one. Again, it depends what your requirements are, but they have similar characteristics in that you can put them under your iron without damaging the product. This one's much more flexible. I've got a small seam allowance on the lining, So this time I'm going to take that up 1 centimetre as my allowance. And then I'm going to turn again another centimetre. And this means you don't need to pin your hems so much because it's all pressed, and you can really just put minimal pins in and take it straight to the machine. I'm going to finish hemming the lining. I've hemmed the outer skirt and we'll take a look at the finished hem. Those curved edges are a perfect way to both cut and allow for a seam allowance on a curved patch pocket. So you can use the curve to initially cut the curve shape if you want to change up a patch pocket shape from a pattern to a curved edge. And then you use the tool again to create your seam allowance. I'm just going to clip the corners because that helps the edge of the fabric to turn. And then you can press it using the tool. So because you can put the heat through the tool, that curve shape can remain there as a former while you create the curve. It means you can create a beautiful corner and then you can top stitch accurately. You might also see this line here. It's a 45-degree angle. It's useful for quilters or for any kind of home furnishings and that kind of thing. So you can find your seam allowance. So in this case, I'm going to use a 3 centimetre seam allowance and press in the edges of the fabric. I can then use that 45-degree angle there. So I can use the right angle to match up with the fold lines and then take my corner to the 45-degree line. You can be accurate here, from here to the line. Fold everything in. Your fold should be on that 45-degree angle and give it a press. When you've done the other side, both of your folds will match up. You'll have a perfect mitered corner. The other little feature is the cutout at the side. So here, this is useful for creating perfect squares. So in this case, I've got 3 centimetres and then another 3 centimetres, and I can cut out a square, ideal if you're making a makeup bag, but you can cut any size square there or check a right angle in your work. Hot hammers and ironing rulers are also great for creating pleats. So I've put my first pleat in here. I'm using that fold line as my guide to fold up the next pleat. You can make sure that the fabric is nice and snug against the edge of the ironing ruler. When you press, you'll get a really crisp finish, and you can also use steam with the clover hammer too. Here's that line, that's my fold line. So I'm going to make a 3 centimetre pleat. So I'm going to match up this end 3 centimetres and this end 3 centimetres. Be really accurate there, and then fold up the fabric. You can keep repeating that until you've got the amount of pleats that you would like. It makes them really crisp, really ideal for dressmaking. You can see here they're really accurate 3 centimetre pleats, and all I marked was the width with a little dot across the top. You might have some other top uses for your ironing rulers. I'd love to know what they are, so you can leave them in comments, but for now let's go back to the skirt hem from before. Here's the skirt finish. This is the Maison Fauve Grenadine skirt. I've made it in an organic cotton sateen from Minerva's exclusive print run range. This is called Glorious Garnish. Lots of beautiful colours on a light navy background. The hot hemmer has really helped me to get a really nice top stitched hem that is running parallel to the floor, and my side seams are perpendicular to the floor. I really don't know what I would do without this tool. For those who like to know, today I'm wearing the Florence top. It also comes in a dress as well. It's a really easy breezy summer swing top. It does come a little bit shorter than this if you follow the pattern, It's got buttons down the back. I've got a few mismatched ones there to blend in with buoyant strokes. That's the name of this exclusive print from Minerva, and this one is on a challis base cloth. It means that you get lots of drape and flow, especially with the gathered feature along the hem. With gathered hems like this, then the ironing rulers are really useful because you tend to have really long lengths of hem, and it can be quite tedious to try and do it with your fingers and you burn yourself. So this is perfect if you've got gathers or tiers on your project. We would love to see what project you have been up to, so do head over to Minerva, share your makes there. You can take a photo, give a little description, tag the products that you use so you can remember them for another time. It's a great way of keeping a sewing diary. It's also a great place to go and be inspired by other makers, so there's lots and lots of content there for you to explore. You could also stay here on our YouTube channel and check out some of our playlists. There's lots of content there now, sew-alongs, learn to sew videos, an overlocker series. There's always new fabric and pattern releases on there too, so there's plenty for you to get your teeth stuck into. For now, thanks very much for joining me, and we'll see you again soon.